In this lesson, we're going to talk about Adobe Substance 3D Modeler, which is a part of the Substance 3D applications that you can download and install. We already saw how to do that in the previous videos of this course. And we're going to do kind of a quick introduction, a quick tour of this particular software, which is pretty interesting. And it's similar to other like more professional, more complex software that are out there, but we're going to talk about this in just a minute. Now, this is the welcome screen, so if you want, you can find also other video tutorials here and other documents that you may need. And so we can start with a new project or open up an existing one, but since this probably is your first time, I'm going to go with the new. And this is what is going to happen. Now, you probably don't see this exactly as I see it right now because I've changed a little bit the settings of this software. So if you go up here in the file menu, we have the possibility to create a new file and open up an existing file you can save. You can also get assets from the Substance 3D Assets Marketplace. So you can get it from here. You just download and you can then open it. Or you can also import an entire scene or import just a mesh model. Or you can import it as a stamp to use here in Modeler. You can also import references images and build up textures. Now, you probably don't know all of this stuff, but I'm gonna try to explain in, again, just a minute. And you can also, of course, export. Now, to do this tutorial, I wanna import a mesh. And I wanna start with a file that I created in Blender. So it's a simple monkey head. You can see here, this is the monkey head in Blender. You find like a lot of tutorials using this monkey head, but essentially is a a head that you can use a similar model if you want. So for the unit scale, I'm gonna leave auto detect. For the up axis, I'm gonna go Z, and or actually I'm gonna try with epsilon. You need to figure out this once you import, and you can import parts or just the model entirely, and then color encoding, let's leave linear and auto detect. Just go import. Now it's importing, and now the mesh is imported. Yeah, because it's way bigger than the starting cube there in Modeler. Now, by the way, if you're not accustomed with 3D software, usually these gizmo, they represent movement, they represent rotation. So if you click there with the left mouse, you can rotate, and these are for scaling. So you can like change the shape that you begin with right here, which by the way is a primitive. You can see it right here is the cuboid primitive. But again, we're gonna get into this shortly. So I've imported this mesh, but I cannot do anything until I convert this into something that can be used in Substance Modeler. And also I need to apply once I finish something. If I click apply, you will see that I created an object. Now I want to go in the selection here. So the first tool here in the toolbar, this is the left toolbar. You have a left toolbar, you have a right panels, and that's it. That's the interface basically. There's nothing, so complex. So in the select tool, I want to select this, and you see this is not yet an object that I can like manipulate inside the software. I can just change the scale a little bit. I can move it, but I cannot like sculpt on this or paint on this. So to do that, I need to convert this model into a clay object. Down here at the bottom, you have some tools, and one of these really at the bottom right is called convert to clay. So we're gonna click there, and that's gonna convert the mesh that you imported into clay. Otherwise, again, you won't be able to work on this inside Modeler. You only can work with the objects that are already available inside Modeler. Now you can see on the right side, I can also change colors. And so as you can see, I cannot change the color for the monkey. I can only change the color here, but I need to wait for the mesh to be converted. Okay, now you can see we're ready. and you will hear a sound when something happens in modeler, and it's something that could be nice or could be annoying. But for any of those settings on the software, you go here to edit, and of course you have Control Z, Control F, all these, select all, deselect all, inverse selection, and here you have preferences. Now you can change the language here on the top to your own language if you want. You can change also the theme. You probably are seeing this like this because I've changed something here in the preferences. So I can also reset everything as it was at the beginning, and this is the volume for the sound effects. Oops, now it's in Italian, so let me change it to English. And then you can change the interface scale. So I'm gonna make it just a little bigger so we can see a little bit better. And then you can also have enable the VR if you have VR devices, and you can check here the VR volume and also the endness and the grab weight and all this stuff. And then you can also, let me see here in the editor. Well, you figure out this is really simple settings here. I'm gonna use live Boolean preview and advanced controls, ambient occlusion. These are experimental, as you can see. So it's kind of the new software, so it has a lot of experimental features. Now I can select, you can see the head, and I can also work a little bit with the color. So here I can change the color and then use the fill if I want to fill the object with another color, as you can see. Or I can pick a color here and just continue. So if I want to make it white, I'll just paint it. Now I think I have also set some lights and some environment. You can see there, it's kind of slow, but it's changing the material, and I can use the bucket. I can also paint. So to paint, I need to go, well, let's select this color, and then I need to go here again on the toolbar all the way down. This is for painting right here. So you have the paint tool, you can start to paint around, and you can change also the shape that you want to use to paint, and also the size, the hardness of the paint. Now, since we're coming from Substance Painter, now this should be really easy for you, because if you followed along the course, you probably know all of this. Now, single is to place a single paint point. There you go. So it's kind of a small. So let's make it big, and you can see there also the hardness. So if you increase the hardness, it will be like this. If you decrease it, it will be more blurred. And then you have the rate. Let me make this smaller, and so you can change all of these shapes. You also have lazy mouse, which is going to go like slow, but it's going to be more precise. So this is single right here, and let's deactivate that. Let's increase the size. Let's use another one. There you go. So it's kind of appearing with a delay, or you can use steady if you want to make more steady brushes, and you can use the pressure or not if you have, again, a tablet and a pen. You can also reset all the parameters every time if you want to restart. Now, painting is really easy. Of course, you can do it also in Painter, so that's not like the best thing that you can do here. You have also two ways you can work with the render mode or model mode. Now, if you go in render mode, you can define here the materials. So right now we're using this material, and I can select something with the select tool. So the first one is going to be the select tool. You can select all, you can deselect all, you can select something and invert the selection. So once you select that, you can apply a material to the selection, which is already applied, by the way. I can also create more materials and apply to the selection again, and that's going to override the previous one with the paint, and create more. Now, every time you create one, it's going to have a random color, so you can always go here, edit the properties, change to something else, and here you can also use it as diffuse or emission, and then you can define the roughness, the metallic effect, and when you're ready, you can apply to selection. So this is now emissive. Let's go back to diffuse, and